What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Outspoken Network. Say what you mean what you say. As always, I am Cordell.
Marqus.
Rob.
Deuce.
And before we get started with the topic of the day, because you know what time it is with those, please like, subscribe, rate, review, share on all socials.
Please.
With all that fun stuff out of the way, topic of the day, which quarterback is under the most pressure in 2024? Fox came out with a list for this.
I want to hear this.
And I'm going to sit here and say, not that bad to me personally. And this is how the list goes. At 1, I'll start from 8. There's only 8. At 8, Rodgers. At 7, Josh Allen. At 6, Russell Wilson. At 5, Daniel Jones. 4, Kirk Cousins. 3, Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Yeah.
2, Dak Prescott. And 1, Tua Tagovailoa.
How does
This is,
Bryce?
sorry, let me make sure that I give the credit to this is from Fox Sports, Greg Allman.
How does Bryce Young have more pressure than Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think Bryce Young should be the lowest on that.
Yeah, honestly,
He shouldn't be on the list.
He was thrown in a very boo-boo situation. I don't understand how he should have more pressure when the dudes who he was listed ahead of, Russell Wilson, this is make or break for his career, right? Dak was ahead of him. So wait,
him and Daniel Jones.
Dak,
You can also say you can say Justin Fields as well. Justin Fields is playing for his quarterback, his future as well.
Bryce Young was 3.
True. Yeah, he was 3.
Yeah, no. Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers. And Kirk.
Honestly, Josh Allen has more pressure than him.
Bryce should be more or behind all of them.
Okay, for the topic of Bryce, I can understand it. I don't think he should be at 3, but I can understand why they're saying he has pressure because I have seen young quarterbacks. You're fighting for your career right now. Like, no pressure as in, no, we don't expect you to go nowhere, but pressure as in, if this doesn't pan out for you in year 2, will they dismiss and move on? The same thing they did with, what's his name?
Josh Rosen?
Josh Rosen.
We're not saying, I'm not saying there's no pressure. We're just saying there's no top 8 pressure.
I think he should still be on the list.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
No,
I just don't think he needs to be there.
There's a backup quarterback in Pittsburgh that I think should be on the list before Bryce Young.
I can't give a backup quarterback any pressure.
When it's Justin Fields, I can't because what
are you expecting then?
Because I'm expecting him to do. This is the last year of his rookie deal. You have to understand that. He's playing for free agency next year. If he doesn't start or even get on the field, those options are going to be slim. And we got to keep in mind the type of offseason he already had just for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get him. So many teams already overlooked him. And if he goes another year without playing or doing anything,
I think Justin Fields is, as soon as his contract's up, a team is going to sign.
No.
Yeah. Look at Charles Baker, Sam Darnold, like number 1 pick. No, not number 1 overall, but first round picks, they get another opportunity.
But those guys
be another one.
Those guys got on the field. Those guys got on the field.
Darnold didn't get on the field.
Darnold did get on the field in Carolina.
No, yes. After who was he with? There was somebody else.
After the Jets.
No. But there was he didn't just get that.
Oh no.
He went to San Francisco.
He went to San Francisco.
He played. No, Darnold was compete. There was another quarterback on the Panthers.
It was Baker. It was Baker.
Baker? Yeah, I thought it was a black quarterback.
P.J. Walker or Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, right?
No, Bridgewater was a backup that year. Bridgewater didn't get inserted.
Well, because Sam Darnold didn't play that whole year.
He didn't play the whole year. He started off the year. He started off week 1, yeah. Okay. But see, he played. But I'm talking about, again, in a situation where even Baker left Cleveland, he went to Carolina, he played. He went to the Rams. He still played with the Rams. I'm talking. I'm talking injured. But I'm talking if Fields doesn't get on the field at all.
I think he's.
I think he will though. I'm not.
If he doesn't get on the field, I still think he's going to be fine.
He will get on the field because even if somehow some way he doesn't start this season, he'll get on the field in packages, and as long as he does well in those packages, the team is going to. They're going to take a chance.
I disagree with Justin Fields only because if Russ, let's say him and Russ are both doing well, and given their situation, it's likely that if they're of the same ilk, I feel like they would start Russ for experience and a higher floor than they would Justin Fields, which would be less on Justin in terms of pressure. And I don't think that it will impact him in the future if his growth is.
So
I do feel like in terms of expectations and with Bryce Young, that CJ Stroud and Lamar both have more pressure than Bryce Young should. Like, I won't even have Bryce Young top 10.
No.
Yeah, I think Lamar should be on there. I think Aaron Rodgers should be on there.
Aaron Rodgers should be top 3.
I don't think Kirk Cousins should be on there. And I don't think
Absolutely.
Bryce Young should.
I don't think Cousins should be on there.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Bryce Young and Cousins, I don't think should be on there. But I think Rodgers and Lamar should.
I don't think, at least from me, because we had this discussion with Marqus. Like, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, him being top 3 on this list for me, I mean, he's coming in at 8th, but I feel
Who's that?
he should be top 3.
The top 3 for you guys. If you know who you would have top 3.
Dak, I think it'll be Dak, Rodgers, and Lamar.
Okay, that's who you think are the top
Dak,
3.
Rodgers, and
Who have
Lamar.
the
Yeah.
most pressure going.
I think
into this.
Tua will come in probably 4, and I think Josh will come in at 5 for me.
Yeah,
But again, with Rodgers, the thing is, we got to remember how all this played out. Okay, this is the guy that prior to him leaving Green Bay had already drafted his heir apparent, and they thought that Jordan Love was going to see the field a little sooner than expected. But what happened? Aaron Rodgers won 2 MVPs. He turned that into, you're not going to see the field while I'm still here. So they finally parted ways. He went to New York, not even a drive. 4 snaps into the season, he pops his Achilles, done for the year. The Jets season is over for the most part. Now they come back, and they come back with a team that, yes, on paper looks talented, but the additions that they made all have injury question marks. Mike Williams, Teron Smith. So with him, and take all that and put it on, and just understand that he's doing all this in the biggest media market in this country, at the very least. He's doing it in New York under that spotlight. There's so much pressure on it. If it doesn't work this year, Salah's gone.
So
Joe Douglas is gone.
I don't think it affects Rodgers a whole lot. It affects the things around him.
It could,
I don't think it.
our scales and what we grading these people on, because all the people on the list have different reasons for why they're listed for having pressure.
Correct.
Aaron Rodgers, in terms of a career and what we see him as a quarterback,
It's not going to change.
it's not going to change. Right? I feel like
It's not
if,
changing.
let's say the Jets just make the playoffs and lose in the division. My opinions on Aaron Rodgers don't change.
It changes for me. It changes for me because I think
because he's been this.
because I think it's a guy that's underwhelmed in his career. Right, but I'm saying this is just another stop where it's like, man, you left Green Bay. You left a good situation in Green Bay. It wasn't to your liking, but you left a good situation in Green Bay. You went to New York and you didn't even get anywhere. You didn't even make the postseason potentially. And then now you're a guy that's like, man, you played all these years, won 2 Bowl appearances.
That's how we think of him, right?
That's how I think.
Yeah, but it's just like Favre, right? You knew what you got from Favre, but the fact that he went to Minnesota, which was a better situation, and he still fell short of the game. He went to the Jets. They had a great start to the season. Still, like, it added on. It piled on to what you already felt about Favre.
I don't think it changes anything.
I think the only way
That's fair.
The talent in what Aaron Rodgers is, we've seen the MVPs, we've seen the throws, we've seen the off platform. We know what Aaron Rodgers is, and what he has been is underwhelming. That won't change.
Like his playoff appearances just.
I don't think he has anything to lose. He only has something to gain. I feel like we all are on the same page of, bro, we know you can get to the playoffs. We know what you can do in the regular season. Can you go to a Super Bowl? So I think in this situation, he only can gain. If he goes to the Super Bowl, then that's the only way we'll look at him differently, because it'll be like, oh, wow, he made it to another one. That's the only thing that I see with him.
Like for me, I think that the people who should have the most pressure are the people that could either lose their jobs or the people that are like Super Bowl or bust.
That was
Like, to me, those two things.
So Lamar definitely deserves it.
Yeah, I'm about to say Lamar.
Yes.
I think Josh Allen is on that.
I'm confused now. Now I'm confused.
How? Because the Bills are Super Bowl or bust. Are they not?
Ooh, hold on. You have them winning the division?
I don't know.
Yes.
Since when? I thought you had Miami winning the division.
I have Miami winning.
I said that until someone beats Buffalo, they're They have to win.
Okay.
Here's the tricky part about that statement, right? I've been saying for
That
at
the
least,
window's
I've
closed.
been
Slapping him.
no, I've been saying for no, closing ing
thought this shit
and ed is different.
No, but I thought once Diggs was gone, it was closed.
No, I always said that as long as 17 is there, the window is slightly open, but it's not as open as it was 3-4 years ago. It's barely open because you didn't expect a Houston team to be where they are right now. They've already surpassed them in terms of
if that's your take, then I don't see why Josh is on this list for you.
How can you? My thing is, how can you say you have arguably the second best quarterback in the league for so long and you don't have Super Bowl expectations? Like that's wild to me. That's been over the Bills for the last 3 or 4 years, in my opinion.
About Josh, though, the way that he's being framed is though he is not able to uplift these new, young, unproven weapons that he has around him. So if the expectation for him is to underwhelm or to be turnover,
a lot of people think he's going to have a step back. A lot of people think that his statistically, performance-wise, he's
I think his passing will take a step back, but that doesn't. Because hold on,
I feel like he's playing with house money.
The passing, no, because if the passing takes a step back, that doesn't mean you still can't win.
Right.
You saw Pat Mahomes; his passing took a step back, but they still win games.
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't. It doesn't mean that you still can't win because what did he say?
Wow.
The formula. Hold on. What did you say? What did he say? The formula was running the ball more with James Cook and being able
the second half of the season. That's what happened.
That's what I'm saying. So if you can still win games, the pressure of winning a Super Bowl is still there.
Yeah.
If the expectations of your team have lessened, why
no.
stay the same?
They've never lessened.
They haven't lessened.
They haven't lessened. The expectations are still there.
I still Joe Burrow. I still have Josh Allen. He has better weapons
because he's been to a Super Bowl.
No, but he hasn't won a Super Bowl.
He hasn't won one, but he's at least been to
there.
it.
So there's no pressure for Joe Burrow.
No,
there's more.
But it's more pressure on Josh because
it's more pressure on Josh and Lamar because we hold these quarterbacks to a certain caliber, and they haven't even gotten there.
And they've never been there.
The difference between Lamar and Josh, though, is the team and the circumstances and how Lamar has lost versus how Josh Allen has lost.
No, they are different losses, and you can say that Josh Allen has performed better in the playoffs than Lamar. I'm just saying that they both, to me, still have high pressure because their expectations are the same. Super Bowl
I didn't know that this was. I felt like at least everything that I hear is move, man. Like Jets in Miami, like that is the move out there.
It's just to me. To me, it's just
defense
like
is decimated, and you lost your 2 top wide receivers.
To me, there's some similarities as it is in the NBA, right? If you have a Jokic on your team, or a Kobe, or a LeBron, the finals is always going to be the expectations because you have that certain caliber player. Even like LeBron in Cleveland. His second, you might not.
Single player can be more impactful in basketball than football.
Hold on, but look, for me, I'm like, you might not be the favorites, but the expectation
you still expect to get that. You still expect
it's like, but we're playing for a Super Bowl.
The next season, if we talk basketball, I wouldn't have Luka in terms of top 5 players who have pressure on them next year. I wouldn't say Luka has more pressure than
he just made the finals.
Pressure now.
Okay, but I'm saying in terms of Joel Embiid, in terms of kind of similar situations.
Guys that didn't make the finals.
That's what you're talking about.
Exactly. So I'm like, Josh Allen,
the 76ers in comparison to the Bills have a better built team for going to win a championship. If we're looking at what the Bills have built going into this season, there are more question marks than we've seen
the setup is kind of
early in Josh.
The setup is kind of sort of same.
The only big loss that they really have that people are talking about is just Diggs. But I mean, the defense. With the injuries that they had last year, they were still a good defense.
Have they not built this offense? Have they not built this offense around Josh Allen his entire time there?
That's for you to
answer. Not just adding Diggs, adding Kincaid, adding Dawson Knox, getting those type of offensive linemen. They've built this thing around him.
But at the same time, they've passed on a number of first-round wide receivers that they could have got for Josh. That they didn't. They waited.
That's why I said yes and no, because you say built around, but I can sit here and tell you that throughout his time they prioritized building around the defense that constantly failed them in the playoffs.
No, for sure, because most of their first round picks.
The premium picks were up until Keon. All of their premium picks were D-line.
Well, they did offensive line with Osiris Torrance. Yeah.
D-line, James Cook,
You
Osiris
can
Torrance,
literally say this.
and
You
Keon.
can say the same thing about Lamar. Outside of Zay Flowers, the only premium pick that the premium picks that they've had before that were on the defensive side of the ball. But it was still his team. It was still built
But
around
he's the reason
him.
they lost.
That's the difference.
Nah.
He plays from his team.
But like, when you think about Lamar and Josh, the main difference is Lamar is by far, I don't want to say by far, but he's the better player in the regular season. But then in the playoffs, it always seems like he has his worst game in the playoffs. Then Josh, his thing is Josh will have his worst game in the regular season, but then in the playoffs, he's usually good. Like he doesn't have his worst game in the playoffs, no matter who he's playing.
Statistically, Mahomes is the only person who's performed better than Josh Allen in the playoffs.
So why should we not have Super Bowl expectations?
I think
Because everything surrounding him.
It obviously
Because
hasn't. It obviously hasn't hindered him.
Go through.
It obviously hasn't hindered him. But if he's performed on the same par as a quarterback that's had Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, we should have. That's people know.
Josh Allen, in terms of what Cordell talking about with Mahomes and then Allen in terms of playoff performances, that's the first time I've heard that. People don't talk about that.
Yes, they do.
No, people usually know. Even when we had these conversations,
He always brings that up.
dude, at the general media or y'all. Josh Allen being the second best quarterback, y'all.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
You take Burrow. We would be have.
Oh yeah, he's third. Yeah,
He said the top three is Mahomes.
Yes, he takes top three.
But you have Burrow ahead of.
No, it's always been Allen at two.
He has.
Nah, I have Burrow ahead of Allen.
My bad.
It's always been Allen at two.
In the playoffs, Burrow has gotten it done more than Josh.
Again, what did I just say? You see, hear what he just said. What did I just say? I said the only person who's performed better than Josh Allen in the playoffs is Mahomes. And what did he just say? He said Burrow's not performed better in the playoffs than Josh Allen. His team has, which goes back to when I say that's why Josh Allen shouldn't have it, because he doesn't have a team that I think could take him or help him get.
The Bengals held people below 21, 22 points. All those games too.
I mean, not against Chiefs. They beat them. Not against the Bills when they played them.
When Joe Burrow, I'm talking about when you look at a moment for Joe Burrow and his offense and his numbers and whatnot, most of the time his defense is keeping him in the game. But in my opinion, when I think of the Chiefs Bengals AFC Championship game, I think of Mahomes folding. I think of that last play that Tyreek had at the end of the half.
Okay, look, all right. That's just one game. Usually all the other games, they're close. It's not like the defense
It's not like he's shining, though. He's not out here lighting up the world, except for the game against the Bills.
240 yards.
It's the only game that he's lit it up.
That first game was
the Bills and the Chiefs.
That first game was a comeback.
Yeah, he did light it up against the Chiefs.
Multiple intercept. The defense brought them back.
Where? The first goal?
Against the Chiefs. You're talking about the Super Bowl, right? You're talking about the Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
Right? And that was the defense.
They were down.
Turnovers
They were down
multiple times.
But no, they were down.
But he drove.
They had a comeback.
Yeah, they were down
double digits.
If the defense makes the play, you still have to drive.
I understand. But okay, let me put you this way. Bills defense has had 3 sacks in 3 playoff games against Mahomes. They don't create turnovers. They don't create plays for Josh to take advantage of anything. So you're telling me
make it seem like Josh never has a chance to win.
Because of him. Because of himself. Because of what he's doing. Not because the surrounding team around him is doing it with him.
Okay,
it's a two-way game for the Bengals. It's not a two-way game on this side with the Bills, is what I'm saying.
I mean,
and they brought Vaughn to try and address that, but then Vaughn gets injured and comes back and he still can't.
So what you're saying is there's nothing more Josh Allen could have done in any of those games, so they could have won.
I'm saying the only thing that he could have done was be perfect, and I feel like it's unfair to ask anybody to be perfect. That is what I'm saying. Because the defense didn't do anything.
So you're just saying that Mahomes was just more perfect than Josh Allen?
Mahomes was never perfect last year.
Whose defense would you rather have?
Between who?
Bills and Chiefs.
The Bills.
I mean, last year you'd have to say Chiefs. But the years before, you would say
And
Bills.
Healthy.
Yes, you
fully
would.
healthy.
No, I
I'd rather have the Bills. I think they're a more talented unit.
How could you say that when the Chiefs
But that's what I'm
defense
saying.
is
I know,
never
but we're
Chiefs
speaking
talk-
Because
Take the Bills.
I've watched. First of all, the Bills don't have a Chris Jones, right?
Okay.
Never had a Chris Jones.
All right.
Okay.
Do you have better safeties than
The
that?
Chiefs don't have a Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer.
In which years?
They didn't have one last year.
Last year they were a shell of themselves. They're not the same players. Like they're not.
They were still better than what the Chiefs put out there. They were still better than what the Chiefs put out there. As a matter of fact, it's questionable. You can say that they've been playing ball better than
Like you're like
than
they
running back.
Their defense as a unit played better than the Bills' defense as a unit in the Super
They've had a
in the
Matt Milano?
playoffs. every year.
no.
They've had a Matt Milano.
What did I just say? Their defense as a unit plays better in the playoffs
But they haven't had
than the Bills. You get star power you want. Milano, but
So basically, what you're saying is, even though y'all's defense is better in the regular season, in the playoffs y'all fold, and the Chiefs do not.
defensively, yes. That is what I'm saying.
13 seconds.
Absolutely what I'm saying. Yes. That's the point I'm trying to get across. And so you're telling me this year that new leaders in the safety department,
Okay.
right? We're going to figure out who's leading the secondary now. You have Benford, Rasul Douglas. So
Yeah.
we're going to see what this secondary is going to do. Milano coming back. We'll see how he looks coming back. The D-line, what are we doing there? Because if you can't get pressure on one of these type of quarterbacks, you're not going to win.
I feel like you're.
No, you can't say you're not gonna win.
There's pressure usually has to come onto that quarterback in order for you to disrupt. If you can't disrupt,
I mean, you say how they.
I agree.
So what you're saying is you just can't beat the elite quarterback.
that's what I'm saying. And that's what you're going to run across in the playoffs.
Literally all the top four.
So all the
Holmes, Burrow, Lamar, Josh, Aaron Rodgers.
Like, I don't think if you can't get to him,
We act like this Chiefs defense has been this way
Chris
for
Jones is
the
good.
entire Mahomes career. This is the first time they actually had an elite defense.
they've always been able
they've
to
been a
develop.
No.
Chris Jones just appeared last year.
It was just him. You couldn't even think of anybody else before they had Karlaftis. You couldn't even.
But it was still that was he was your big thing.
He only had like his whole career.
Oh, I can compare Frank Clark to Russo. Like both, like these guys are.
Justin Houston at times. You're talking about all the Chiefs defenses. Justin Houston was impactful.
Justin Houston was there for what, 1 year during Patrick Mahomes' era? Like it was, and they still made the AFC title game that year
But
and lost in overtime.
I feel like it's less about Allen before we got on that tangent.
Yes.
It's more about the other dudes than Josh Allen's pressure. I feel like
No.
with the scope that we was talking
He
about,
should have the same pressure as Lamar Jackson.
Why is Daniel Jones? Why is Daniel Jones on this list?
There's a lot.
We don't expect
Yes.
them to do anything. Why is Daniel Jones on this list? I don't expect the Giants to do anything.
Make or break.
There's no pressure.
Just like you said, with Aaron Rodgers being in the biggest media market, so is Daniel Jones.
Bro, Kenny Pickett just got traded for. He'll find a backup job somewhere.
But we're talking about his career as a starter.
what do you think of James
It's gonna be
Jones?
over.
We right now don't feel like
It's not a starter now.
But he's still trying to prove that. That's why the pressure is on him, because he has to prove that he's a starter.
maybe internal pressure, but in terms of when we're comparing all of these other dudes to Daniel Jones in terms
He's
of
arguably the
what
worst
can-
starting quarterback in the NFC.
what could change for
How-
him, it's not much.
Where's the
Yes, it can. A lot can change for him, depending
I
on
mean, a lot changed for him when they went to the playoffs and didn't win a playoff game.
a lot can change.
A lot did change for him because then he got his money.
But expectation wise for what we think Daniel Jones is, I don't feel as though that's going to change.
No, but
I feel like in
change.
terms
Like,
of
our expectations, cool, but like of
I'll
him,
give you my differences
Mhm.
with Tua. This is the season where we figure out if he can take a team to the Super Bowl.
Really? I thought they said that last year.
In terms of why he's number one right now, all the weapons he has,
I mean, but
If
he
it's
just
not last year, Tua can be
got to
the
win
guy.
a playoff game first.
He does.
Like we shouldn't.
You talking about
Same pressure. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Tua and Dak would be-
yeah, no, they should.
No.
They should.
Because they're both
They're both
Guys
playing for a
who-
contract.
playing for a contract. They're both guys who people debate on being top 10 quarterbacks.
No.
They're both guys who are in MVP conversations, and then they're both guys who get into the playoffs, and they're both guys who can't win in the playoffs.
Dak has folded more times.
Well, yes, because he's older.
He has.
Sure.
That's a difference.
You're on the same trajectory, bro. You're on that. So,
but it's different though, because Tua is still. It's more likely that if he can change his brand and his, what we think of him, then I feel like that.
No.
Man, you know what I'm saying?
Both guys can. Both guys can.
Both of them can change how people see them the exact same way. Just win in the playoffs.
Like maybe it's not
he can change.
Dak's gonna change. I feel like it's.
You don't think he's going to?
Yes.
Like you don't think he's going to?
No.
I think I've seen enough times where.
No, right.
I don't think I've seen enough times.
But if he does, the only way,
same trajectory.
Same way that we want to, like you have to win in the playoffs.
Both of those more pressure than Daniel Jones.
But I've already been
with Lamar. Lamar has a team that is built around him, like we was talking about. He has the MVPs. We know his floor, his ceiling, like what he does to impact the game, especially at the quarterback position. Nobody can do what Lamar Jackson can do. And when you build a team around him and you get a running back like Derrick Henry, who can take a little bit of that load off of you, I feel as though this is the nap, even for Derrick Henry.
But how is it not the same with Josh Allen when they're both elite quarterbacks?
Because the Ravens are better, and Lamar has reached higher ceilings as a player, as an individual player, than Josh has because of accolades.
Yes,
So
but they're both. We both have them as an elite quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But
they're
Lamar,
both tier one.
How many MVPs does Josh Allen have?
He has none. That's what I said. Lamar Jackson is better in the regular season.
Who's a better team? The Ravens. Lamar should have more pressure than Josh Allen right now.
The better team is the Ravens, but you could say like offensively, other than
Wait, what you gonna say? But offensively,
where you going with?
Like the Ravens are better, yes, and it's only because basically running back and
tight end.
I mean, people feel like Kincaid is going to be what Mark Andrews.
He ain't there yet.
There's a bunch of question marks. I understand.
They have established.
It's a bunch.
They're established. You got a bunch of. You can say that the Bills could potentially be better.
Like and Lamar Jackson are the same in terms of
to me, I would have
however good that they are is how good
to me.
Both guys are usually good. So the offenses are usually good.
To me, I would have Lamar above Josh simply because of the fact that at this stage in his career, I don't think anyone really expected him to be a 2-time MVP. At this stage, we expected him to be good, right? We expected him to be good. We expected him to be dynamic, but we didn't expect for him to be the best player in the league on 2 different occasions this early in his career. Not to mention, there's been so many times where he's had stages where, like, bro, the playoffs run through Baltimore, and you still could not make the game. You still could not make the big game. After last season, I'm already at a point when it comes to Lamar, I don't care what you do in the regular season. You can come out here, you can throw for 5,000 yards, you can run for another 1,500, but if you lose in the divisional round, it ain't going to mean jack shit.
I feel
I'm already there.
It's for Marcus's point, though. I do feel like if that is the framing, then I feel like it's the same with Josh Allen. We don't care what he does.
To me, it's different. It's different because of the fact that he actually took home those personal awards.
But it's still the same.
My thing is with Josh and Lamar specifically, it do come down to the heights.
Because you got to think when Lamar
individually,
when Lamar didn't have these weapons on offense that we see that they just got,
he still won league.
He still won MVP. They still had expectations of him in the playoffs to do something. So I feel like why would we not have the same expectations for Josh, who's on the same caliber of player, and we know that he can perform in the playoffs?
Because that's one personal accolade I haven't seen from Josh yet. Like I've seen it from Mahomes. I've seen it from Lamar. Like,
but when it comes to
as of right now, who had a better offseason in your opinion? The Bills, the Ravens?
The Ravens.
I mean, damn, they both lost a lot of guys. The only person that Ravens added was Derrick Henry, but they both lost.
I'm talking about that in draft picks.
you know,
if
on
we're
deep-
just talking, so
the Ravens,
lost
the
Patrick
Ravens
Queen.
were not. Yeah, the Ravens were not beat up defensively. They just lost Queen. They still have
they
Roquan.
lost.
safety.
They lost Queen and they
They still got
Geno
Kyle,
Stone.
they still got
Yeah.
Kyle Hamilton is there. Who cares about Geno Stone being gone? You still got Matt.
Geno Stone did have 6.
He's not Kyle Hamilton.
No, he's not. But
They still have Matabuke. They still have Marlon Humphrey. They're still good on defense. They're fine.
on defense.
Building and whatnot.
See, I don't see how you could say that when they lost.
They're not on the. To me, I'm not.
No, they're
They're not on the same level as the Ravens.
They're still a good defense, and the team is not.
All right. The only person left to talk about is Russ.
I was just about to say, Russ Wilson is fighting.
Russ should
for
be
his,
3 to me.
Okay.
Russ would be 3.
I don't really.
I would keep Tua where he is. I would keep Dak where he is, and then I would follow that up with Russ at 3. Russ would be my 3 in my top 3
Because this is probably
because
this is
break
this is
for
probably
his
the
career as well.
right. This is probably the one guy. Because even though I mentioned Aaron Rodgers, this may actually be the one guy on this list where, worst case scenario, his legacy is impacted. Like it may not be that way
Like
for
he'll still
Rodgers.
be Hall of Famer,
Right.
but
I agree with you guys where it may not necessarily damage the career of Aaron Rodgers. It's just going to look ugly on the surface.
Russ is the only dude on this list where his legacy.
Yes, for him. It's like, yo, if he has a bad year, or if he has a situation where Fields beats him out in training camp and he doesn't get on the field,
Who do you have more pressure on, Fields or Russ?
Russ, easy. But I think
you were talking about Fields.
But I think it's pressure. I think it's pressure on both. But I think it's just a little bit more with Russ because literally his legacy is hanging.
I don't think Fields is pressure cracks the top 10, like at all. But in my opinion, like even like if we, I was gonna say in terms of CJ Stroud, I do feel like Josh Allen has more pressure than CJ Stroud, even though CJ Stroud has
no pressure.
None.
Yeah, I don't think
it's year 2.
Well, he has the pressure of living up to what the team expectations are.
Now,
But that's not anything that
hypothetically, if Houston gets the number 1 seed this year and they lose, and next year is going to be like, all right, CJ,
going into his contract year.
I don't know.
No,
come on now. Come on now. The way that they have loaded this team up for CJ, you're expecting a deep playoff run in the foreseeable future. But if that doesn't happen, there's a problem.
So what you're saying, but you're saying like next year, if they get the number 1 seed and they lose in the divisional, like
which would be their first playoff game.
Yeah, but who's to say like if they lost to the Chiefs or if they lost to like
no. You know
what a story that
you're
Diggs goes to another quarterback and loses to the Chiefs in the divisional.
Like
that's he's literally. I just sat here and said if he loses in the divisional round next year, I'm going to look at him and say, okay, CJ, you gotta trump that. You gotta overcome that. But if it's still the same situation where it's like, yo, he ain't even getting there, winning all these regular season games, having a number 1 seed, the AFC runs through Houston, and you ain't even getting to the Super Bowl, and you got a team as loaded as this in year 2.
I don't think there should be pressure until maybe year 4 or 5.
No.
For CJ to where we feel like you got to get to a Super Bowl, like because it's hard for quarterbacks to.
Bro, what if they don't win a division this year?
Then that'll be different.
So if they lose, then they'll have more pressure than if they win. For you,
yeah, because you're saying that they're gonna have pressure if they get the number 1 seed and lose in divisional, who's going to play?
Pressure next year, not this year.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you're saying that he's going to have more, like a lot of pressure, but he'd have more pressure to me if they lost the division, and then it's like.
So what do you think the expectations will be for them next year? In the fact that they win 12 games, they get the number 1 seed, losing the division round. What do you think the expectations will be next year?
2025.
In 2025, I mean, the Super Bowl expectations the same as.
That's pressure.
No, but I just don't think it's going to be as much as what y'all are thinking it's going to be.
Bro, you can't get no higher than Super Bowl. Like that's the pinnacle. You can't get no higher than that. What do you mean?
But there's a lot of teams that have that have Super Bowl expectations.
No, there's not.
Chiefs,
1.
Ravens,
2.
Bengals,
3.
Bills.
No. I'm telling you, I just.
Oh my God.
You say I do.
And then Niners, Lions.
AFC, sorry. You're doing NFC too. Okay.
And
Niners, Lions, Eagles, Cowboys.
Okay.
That's it.
For expectations?
Yes, they. Oh,
Yes, they do. But it's the Cowboys. Like, it's the Cowboys.
So are we talking about Cowboys expectations as their fan base, their team, or are we talking about realistic expectations for what we think that they're going to do?
I mean, with Dak
General
Prescott,
public.
they're like, bro, y'all gotta.
bro, they've won 12 games.
Says that.
They've won 12 games 3 years in a row.
So are you saying that in order for the Cowboys season to be deemed successful, that they need to reach a Super Bowl?
Yes.
I disagree. I think
Because the thing is, the Cowboys
get
to
to an
me,
NFC Championship game.
the Cowboys to me,
they'll be
They can't even do that.
yeah, you can't even do that.
again, I know. So I'm posing, framing the question. That's all.
Like-
I feel as though if they get to an NFC Championship game, that will be a success for the Cowboys.
To me,
Cowboy people.
the Bills and the Cowboys are similar in terms of expectations
Man, the
because
Bills are similar to a lot of teams, huh?
you guys are Super Bowl expectations. Yes, like you guys that have a quarterback that
We
people
expect
believe
the
in.
Bills to go to the Super Bowl.
Why? But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you think that's a thing?
Bunch of question marks.
But we have Josh Allen.
Right. Like,
Right.
that's the thing. I don't get it. You have that.
We know they have.
So how many times have we said, man, as long as Mahomes is on the field, the Chiefs are going to be all right.
We said that after he won a Super Bowl. He already won a Super Bowl.
No. They still had expectations.
We said that with Tampa.
Yeah, they still
They're going to be fine.
Nope.
Mahomes is there.
No. They didn't. No, they didn't say that he was going to be fine. We did say we had to see what it was going to look like, but they still had the
You still
expectation
think they're going to win games to get to the playoffs.
to get to a Super Bowl. It's still the expectation.
Remember it that way.
You don't have to be the favorites to win it.
It's no,
to still
not
have the
the favorites.
expectation.
I think as soon as Tyreek Hill left, the conversation definitely was, how is this offense going to do this? How are they going to? What is this going to be?
You can ask the half.
There
There
was-
was the expectation.
And then last year, we definitely had no Super Bowl expectations on the Chiefs last year going into
Don't
last
say
year.
we.
No, I said we right here.
Because I'm like,
We do not have any Super Bowl expectations for this team. We thought they was done in the divisional round, probably. Like there was not a Super Bowl expectation on the Chiefs.
That was the first time they actually exceeded my expectations.
Okay. So what I'm saying is just because he did it, so now because Mahomes did it, Josh Allen should have the same expectation because Mahomes.
But even then, before then, like, what's the worst season the worst season Patrick Mahomes had was what? Losing in the AFC title game?
yeah.
Since he's been in the league? Like, look, think about that. Think about that. The worst season in Patrick Mahomes' career was losing in the AFC title game. Why would we not have Super Bowl expectations for them every year?
Why would we compare him to Josh if Mahomes is Mahomes?
They're similar players. He literally just said that nobody has performed better in the playoffs of Allen than
But
Mahomes.
you have to understand the gap between
Oh,
Mahomes and everybody.
no. Listen to me.
One career.
Listen to me, too. Listen to me. You take Josh.
Last
You
year,
take
he
Josh. You take
Ravens and
Josh.
Bills.
I don't care what team you put Josh on. Okay? I don't care what team you put. You can put Josh in Arizona. All right? I'm going to expect them to at least win 8 or 9 games
So,
because of the caliber of quarterback that he is.
but again, you wouldn't have the Cardinals having Super Bowl expectations.
That's all.
My thing is,
But I still expect a certain level of winning.
Bills, do you have as even a top 6 Super Bowl favorite right now? No, you don't.
You probably have 6 teams over them right now.
But there's when you have 6 or 7 teams better than them.
Well, I just said there was 9 teams that had Super Bowl expectations. So
expectations.
Yes. Let me ask you this: if you were looking at it right now,
I feel like there are tiers for that, but
you have the Chiefs over the Bills, right?
Uh-huh.
You have the Ravens over the Bills.
Yep.
You have
I have the
the
Niners.
Bengals over the Bills.
Always going
Yes.
against good.
Okay. You have the Texans over the Bills.
yep, and that's the Bills.
It's the AFC.
No,
Did you say-
I didn't say the Niners. No, I was going through the AFC first.
Yeah, so they'd be
So,
fifth
but
in the AFC.
but you don't have the Jets over the Bills.
Nope.
You don't have the Dolphins over the Bills.
Nope.
AFC South. Okay. AFC
Jaguars,
West,
Colts,
AFC West,
Texans.
AFC North. There's nobody else. Okay, so
Nope.
you have them
Let's
ranked
rank them.
fourth or fifth in the AFC.
Yeah.
And then if we do the NFC,
Fifth seed last year. Let's look.
we have the 49ers.
Wasn't it the Texans? No. It was
49ers.
the Browns.
So we have Yeah, 49ers, Eagles.
Which we thought the Browns would make the Super Bowl.
How many games they won?
Browns won 11.
49ers, Eagles.
I mean, the Bills won 11.
Lions.
Wait, Lions over the Bills?
49ers. I don't know about the Eagles.
You don't have the Eagles over the Bills.
I'm not. The way that they ended, it's.
New coordinators.
I mean,
Question mark.
I'm a little.
Eagles over the
Eagles over the Bills.
So, yeah.
Okay, Lions.
Yep.
Okay,
And then the Bills. So then, because I don't have the Cowboys over them, so they'd be 8.
Packers.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Come on.
Just throwing out teams right now. Just
Don't.
I'm not trying to.
We can stop here. We can stop here.
Which is better, the Packers or the Bills? You got James Cook, Josh Jacobs. You got Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, and
I mean, the one thing with the Packers is they don't have big name
they
players.
don't, but they're all productive.
Neither do the Bills. I mean,
Okay,
Josh.
so that's what makes me think that the Bills can be productive because the
I think the Bills.
I mean,
To me, the Bills.
But I think that Josh Allen's better than.
To me, the Bills have
I feel like he can do it.
To me, the Bills have the better
Why
offensive
can't
line. The Bills have the better set of tight ends. The Bills obviously have the better quarterback. The one thing about Jordan Love, there's so much potential there, but we also forget the first 6 or 7 weeks last year. He was not looking like the way he was in the second half of the season.
Real quick.
So he still has to prove himself to
Bills have you said Bills have a better O-line.
Yes.
With Mitch Morris.
That was why.
They're a better O-line.
Packers
They're a
did.
better O-line. Deion Dawkins is better than what they have.
Bakhtiari been hit or miss. They lost John Runyon to the Giants. I don't know what's on their line.
Like, what are we talking about?
Just asking questions. I'm not here to debate.
Come on, guys. I'll take Kincaid over anything they trotting out there at tight end right now.
Yeah, because they had rookie Tyler Kraft and somebody.
And
Musgrave.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I mean, they're not bad.
They're not bad, but they're not competing.
but they're largely unproven as an offense.
At worst, Bills are 7, 8.
Yeah.
That's not Super Bowl expectation for me.
You sure about that?
I just named you 9 that I thought.
Are you
Super
talking
Bowl
about
expectations.
to go to the Super Bowl?
Who's the 9th one?
I'm no
The
fool.
Cowboys.
Come on now.
8.
Ironically, today Aaron Rodgers said that normally every year there's 8 to 12 teams that have Super Bowl expectations.
So I mean,
This is a very convenient time for you to use Aaron Rodgers as your source for you validating your point. That's kind of crazy.
but I mean,
I never will. I never will from here on in.
But I think it's legitimate that like we have teams.
You come on, you
know, like
every year. You guys know.
If they get hot,
You're not nobody going into the season is like, man, the Raiders can do it this year, guys. This may be the year. Like, no, you guys know. There's like 8 teams every year. You're like, okay, I'm putting them there. The rest of the league is back here. Let's be honest.
I feel like there should be like a Super Bowl expectations, and then
We just named them.
I think there should be a Super Bowl expectations tier and like a don't sleep on these teams tier. I think that there should be a separate.
Oh my gosh.
No,
The show's over. Hey, what are the
There's something else I want to talk about.
but before I think sleepers are teams that we don't expect to have Super Bowl.
real quickly?
Like they come out of nowhere and build it.
Real quickly. Who are your sleepers?
Oh,
Who's what?
a
Who are your
sleeper team?
sleepers?
Okay.
I think the Packers are a sleeper team. Like I think that's a good.
I don't think they're sleepers.
I mean, people know that they can be something. They just got to show it
Depending on how JJ McCarthy turned out, the Vikings are a sleeper.
I can accept
For
that
a
as a
Super Bowl.
sleeper. I
Or
accept that as a
Super
sleeper.
Bowl would be crazy. But in terms of it,
What are we sleeping for? Sleeping on what?
I give my that.
Then
I did.
They're a sleeper to go 9-8 this year, man. They might get the 500 this year.
That was my bad. I'm sorry. I'll be better. Go ahead, Cordell.
All right.
They sleeping on them, man. They might go 7-10 this year. This might be the year the Cardinals get 7 wins.
Hey, when you got Justin Jefferson on the outside, TJ Hawkins, Jordan Addison, and Aaron Jones in the
I
back,
think-
good array of weapons.
I think somebody else who should have pressure, who's not on this list, is Trevor Lawrence.
I agree.
Trevor Lawrence.
This guy will find every way possible to throw dirt on every AFC quarterback.
No.
In his,
For example,
he will
out of bars.
he will find a way.
should have any pressure on him whatsoever.
I'll be damned.
I don't think you should have any pressure on him whatsoever.
That's the nicest thing you ever said about Justin Herbert.
It is.
I don't know about that.
Absolute pressure.
But it's only because of the contract, right?
It's the contract. It's now the emergence over here of CJ Stroud. And it's the fact that they are continuously trying to find weapons to surround you with. So what are we doing?
Who's the pressure on more within that Jacksonville organization? Trevor Lawrence or Doug Peterson?
Trevor Lawrence.
Ain't Trevor Lawrence.
Because if we go through another quarter and go through another coach for you, bro, like at some point I gotta start looking at you.
We gave you a mulligan with Urban.
Yeah.
Like we forgave you for that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Everybody was going to fail in that season.
Peterson's the second since. Right?
Peterson is the second, yes. Made the playoffs the first year. They needed
Was it Frank Wright? Or am I tripping? No,
Frank Wright was in Indy. So it was.
Who did they have before Peterson?
Urban Meyer.
Oh, so no, he's not.
So, yeah.
Okay, so it's only been Peterson since.
Yeah,
Urban
so
Meyer.
we gave you a mulligan with Urban. You brought in Peterson. You made the playoffs.
One playoff game.
But you needed a miracle to do it.
They did. They made the championship.
You needed a miracle to do it. It wasn't.
4 first half interceptions.
Yes, he was terrible.
Yeah.
So I can understand. I can understand the pressure, but I do think it's largely based on the contract more than anything else. You are the highest paid quarterback in the league right now. You're making more money than Mahomes. You're making more money than a reigning MVP. You're making more money than a lot of quarterbacks that are better than you in the AFC. Yes.
13th, 18th down the line right now. Josh is way down the line. Love it.
So what? With that being said, what expectation are we placing on the Jags this year? Like
They got to make the playoffs.
That's the bar for you, making the playoffs.
Because I'm not gonna say that they're better than. Shoot, we just named all these teams that
are they in your sleeper tier?
I think Trevor Lawrence.
Were they in your sleeper tier?
No. We're ending this episode. I'm going to get my definition and make sure that I can come correct for said situation.
They might go 8 or 9 this year, man.
I do think Trevor Lawrence has more pressure than somebody like Daniel Jones, though.
But
that's fair.
I will say that I do think there is pressure on Herbert because the one reason why I say that I think there's some pressure on Herbert is because you said this earlier that wherever Jim Harbaugh has been, he has won.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the pressure's on Harbaugh.
On Herbert.
In that aspect, the pressure's on Harbaugh.
No. What he's saying is if you can't win with this guy, and
this guy has won
all
with
these quarterbacks have been able to win with him, but you can't.
Like
I'm gonna look at you differently.
No,
but now he's just winning
in terms of talent.
Like he's way.
But I'm looking at it from this aspect, right? Like I'm probably the only one in the room that looks at the Chargers roster with a little bit of optimism. I've heard the conversations from you guys. You guys would just trash this roster from top to bottom. However, with Jim, because of the track record at University of San Diego, at Stanford, at San Francisco, with Michigan, he's won. It may in certain stops it may have taken away. Now, this is a Chargers team, in my opinion. You got a quarterback. That was part of the reason why he picked this job. You got a quarterback. Khalil Mack just had a career high in sacks. I know his age is there. I get it. But he just had the best year of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Bosa is he's Joey Bosa. Okay, we'll just leave it at that.
He's Nick Bosa's brother.
You have you have a guy Rashawn Slater. You have Asante Samuel. You brought back Derwin James this year. Like they're still talent. It may not be talent for you to make a postseason run, but I think it's enough talent, in my opinion, for them to at least get to 9-8 this year.
Okay, so
and say okay, next year they're
Khalil Mack. Over half of the games, he had 0 sacks in the game. He had 1-6.
Why does that matter?
Because when you're talking about consistency and making an impact on the game, if he was having 0 sacks in most of the games, I don't feel as though we should be bringing up.
And then he had a game where he had how many sacks? Man, how many players in the league can turn it on like that?
Against the Raiders with Josh McDaniels, a lot of them.
How many have done that?
None.
How many 6-sack games has Nick Bosa have? How many 6-sack games has TJ Watt had? Myles Garrett?
But again, when you're talking about a career high in sacks,
You know, this isn't the
over
first.
a third of your sacks came from one game.
You
Why
know,
are we using that.
You know, this
That's an
isn't.
anomaly.
You know, this isn't the first game where he's had 3 more. Like he had, like his second year in Oakland, he had a 4-sack game on the road in Denver.
When you say that this is his career year and this is why we should be paying attention to this team, and he has 1 6-sack game and 9 0-sack games on his game log from last year, I don't feel as though it's as impactful as you're making it to be.
All right, well, let me
You
just
saying
say,
his consistency wasn't there.
yeah.
That's really what.
So with the things that we're saying about this Chargers team and about Jim Harbaugh, why would there not be pressure on Herbert if they don't get it done? Because now you're like, well, you got a great coach.
I do think
You got some good pieces,
I do-
and yet
I do
like,
think there's
you're
more.
still
No,
not
I
winning.
do think there's more. I mean, I do think there is pressure. It's
Like,
not a ton,
I'm not-
but I just think there's more on Jim, in my opinion, because he still has to prove that he's able to win at every single stop. And I think this is an opportunity for him to show, like he can step into the situation. If he steps into this situation right now and not even make the playoff, they go 9-8 or 10-7. You don't think he's in Coach of the Year conversation?
Yeah, for sure. But hold on. But
At 9-8?
it's possible because of the expectations.
No one's expecting it.
It's possible.
No,
because
I
of the
said in the
expectations of
conversation.
Chargers.
I didn't say
What
win.
the Chargers' expectation?
Hold on.
That they're going to not make the play. They're going to be a losing
I
team.
think they.
That's the
Well, it depends.
I think that 9-8 would be like. I feel like that's where
They won how many games last year?
Like 8.
5.
5.
Like,
Come on, like he wins. He got year 1. He's +4.
I'm not coaching
think
years.
he would.
He said conversation. I didn't say winning.
He's around.
He'll get some votes.
I don't think so.
He'll get some votes. He'll be 5th in the ranking. Yeah.
The same.
So hold on.
No.
So I think the Chargers are going to finish 9-8. Where do you think? Because you disagree with me.
Probably about 7 and 10.
I think they're going to finish.
7 and
I
10.
think they'll finish 9-8 as well.
I think they're going to be somewhere in that ballpark.
7 and 10.
We're talking about a 2-game difference. I feel like that's we're in the same
No,
ballpark.
he just thinks they're
Yeah, they're just
a
gonna be 7
poor
and 10,
team.
bro. They're
He
not
thinks the Rams are going to finish with Gardner Minshew.
So you have them finishing last in the division? Am I mistaken?
Heavens no.
Oh no, the Broncos.
No.
One's finishing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They're not that bad.
But here's the thing. What you said is you said that with Harbaugh, he has more pressure because he has to be a guy that's won everywhere that he's been. Whereas with Justin, hold on,
That's his rep.
hold on. But with Justin Herbert, but he just got to win.
You got to prove that.
Like that's harder.
They had a winning season.
No. He's got to prove that
He can win, like actually win a playoff game and like win something.
Your talent demands.
With the talent
He's
and
going to prove that in 1 year.
We're just talking about
We're
this
just
year. I can't. We're not.
So if they sneak in as a wild card,
But
at
I'm
9,
pressure.
hypothetically, they sneak in as a wild card at 9-8, and they get a wild card win. They do what they do what Green Bay did last year. Oh, this past season.
Yeah.
Is that not a feather in Herbert's cap? You got to say it like
sure.
winning.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Is it valid? Correct.
Yeah, I just don't think it's gonna happen.
One more person. I knew that I said Trevor Lawrence was my last person, but then I was like, I can't not talk about this guy. How's Jalen Hurts not having any pressure? I need someone to explain this to me.
That's a great
Because of one season,
No,
he don't
hold on.
after the collapse we just saw.
Hold on.
You get Saquon on your side. What? And we had to change coordinators because we blame the coordinator.
The collapse comes after he also got paid. Hamstring.
Right. Change coordinator because the coordinator was a problem. You weren't the problem. The coordinator's the problem. So
But
when do we gonna look at you again?
hold on, but let's hold on. Let's calm down though because hold on because
They traded for AJ for you.
yes, but hold on. Let's calm
They
down.
brought in Saquon for you.
Hold on. Let's calm down because you got to think that this started off because it was a top 8. Obviously, everybody has pressure. It's just who has the
They
most.
should be in this.
And I don't think Hurts is
Hurts should be in
eight.
the
Good.
top 8.
You know what? Good luck defending that.
All right.
You're standing on your own.
Here's my top 8. Not in any particular order.
See
but
now he gonna make us try to put.
here's my top 8. I would have. I would have Tua, Dak,
Hurts is a good one.
Hurts,
Who's got it?
Lawrence,
Oh my god.
Lamar,
Oh my god.
Russ.
Oh Jesus. Is that 8 or is that 7?
That's 7.
That's 7.
No, that's 6. Right? Tua, Dak,
Bryce being 3 is so
Russ-
outrageous.
Bryce does not belong on the list.
Or
Tua,
Kirk.
He has arguably the worst team in the league. Why does he have pressure?
Tua, Dak, Russ, Rodgers, Lawrence, Hurts, and
All those dudes before Lamar.
You know you got 5 fingers on
Oh,
that.
sorry.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you. Lamar. Thank you, Lamar. And I think I'll put
I just don't understand how.
Josh at 8.
Okay.
God dang. Josh
I got a name.
Or Watson.
I got a name, and
like Watson at 8.
Completely forgot about Deshaun too.
Watson.
Definitely.
So that would be my.
Deshaun for me has more pressure than Josh.
does
Those would be my
anybody?
8.
Does anybody? I don't think he belongs on this list. But does anybody feel Brock Purdy belongs on this list as well?
Nope. No. Not at all.
No.
He should. I think
Even if we expanded the list to 10, top 10 quarterbacks, we don't
Nope.
think he.
No.
No.
if
Not at all.
Purdy loses, I feel like it depends on how the 49ers would hypothetically lose in the playoffs.
Well, the only way he's on the list is if they lose in the division.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, but if they lose in the
For
NFC
2025. Yes.
Yeah.
For this for 2024 season,
no pressure. Like
No pressure.
he's chilling.
Back to Deshaun.
Deshaun, yeah. I'm glad you said I don't know how.
The fact that we missed that because he squarely belongs on this goddamn list.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
okay.
He does.
Just money alone. Okay, just contract alone. Let him forget expectations.
No, not even expectations. Joe Flacco came in and did better than you.
They look.
Off his couch.
If I was someone in that Browns front office, right?
Off the couch.
I'm sitting there and I'm watching 40-year-old Joe Flacco come off the couch and lead my team to the playoffs. I'm sitting there thinking,
God damn. Man.
and that comes before I got to pay Deshaun $63 million a guarantee for the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say this: like, I think he does have a lot of pressure, and I do think he deserves to be on the list. But the Browns were 5-1 with him as a starter, so they were still winning games. Obviously, it didn't look like the way it looked with Joe,
I don't.
but they did still win games. So if
at
we
a
wanted
point.
to say that if Deshaun was a starter, like, and they were 5-1 and they still led them to the playoffs, cool. But obviously, it didn't look the same. And I think that's the thing that
There's
puts
no
the
Based
pressure.
on that framing, Deshaun wouldn't have been leading into the playoffs. We would have been like, oh, Nick Chubb, oh, Myles Garrett. We wouldn't have been like, oh, Deshaun is putting his team on his back.
No,
He's earning his bread.
because he wasn't.
The thing is,
He wasn't playing
Joe
great.
Flacco looked different.
Look, Joe Flacco.
Like the offense looked
It
different.
looked like the offense was elevated with Flacco on the field.
Yes, and that's the thing. It's not really about winning with Watson. It's about how it looks, because obviously, when we saw him at his best, he was a top.
It didn't look
Like,
it didn't look that impressive.
Put it this way: with Watson on the field, it looked like they were winning because of their defense.
For sure.
Yes,
When Flacco came in, it looked like
He was making plays.
team that was winning.
he was making
That
plays.
we literally thought, bro, they
That's
could
right.
win this.
He was making plays. He was making throws that
So
we
you
didn't
know
even
what?
see from him.
That's my sleeper.
The Browns.
I'll put the Browns as my sleeper.
That's yes.
Your sleeper to do what?
Win the Super Bowl.
Get to the Super Bowl.
Get to,
To get to the Super Bowl?
that's
That's what a sleeper is.
that's a good sleeper.
Isn't that what we just identified
Yeah.
as sleeper?
That's a good sleeper.
That's a good
That's
sleeper.
That's a good sleeper. I like that.
That's
If
my
we
sleeper.
thought that it was possible last year, why can't it be
I just-
possible this year?
Great sleeper.
I think if I'm
Defense wins
sitting here,
championships.
of all the potential sleepers on this thing, that's a sleeper, and I feel like that's my favorite sleeper. If you name another team that you think is a sleeper, I'm still gonna I'll choose them over them. Like, tell me who you'd say is a sleeper. Who would you get?
Out of any out of both conferences?
Yeah. Who's your sleeper?
No. No.
See what I'm saying? Like, to me, that is a beautiful sleeper
To be
of
honest,
the Browns.
no, no, bad sleeper.
Stop. We're not going
Not
to
too
this.
excited.
We're not going to this.
And
one.
just-
Maybe the Seahawks.
But that would be more based off of brand than off of talent.
Jackson Smith and Jigba go crazy.
You know what? I take that back.
Kenneth Walker does good.
I'm leaning either Browns or Steelers.
What?
So defense wins championships.
Those would be my two teams if I had to choose a sleeper.
I mean, to be honest,
Same
If
same question.
To the conference, right? Patriots, no.
Mm.
Colts, no. Are the Jags considered a sleeper?
No.
well, they could.
You chose them; they would be
Yeah,
a sleeper.
yeah.
So Jags, I'm not taking them over them. Titans, I'm not taking them over them. Raiders, I'm not taking. Broncos, I'm not taking.
Mhm.
Chargers would be a sleeper. But I'm not taking
What?
No.
Hey,
These are
what percentage
teams.
of teams?
These are teams that are eligible to be called a sleeper. Like the Bengals can't be a sleeper. The Ravens can't be a sleeper. The Bills can't be a sleeper. The Dolphins can't be a sleeper.
That's like
the
if
Jets
you were to
can't be a
say
sleeper.
the Texans last year were a sleeper and obviously it would have worked out in your favor.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like we're talking about teams that are eligible to be called sleepers. I feel like the best teams
The
that
Packers
are
last year were
eligible.
sleepers.
Yes, the best teams that are eligible this year to be called a sleeper are the Browns and Steelers.
Can I be?
Which is crazy.
You know what? I'm gonna say the Bears.
Okay, that's a sleeper.
Yes.
I wouldn't take them over there, but okay.
I'm gonna say the Bears.
A rookie's never made it to a Super Bowl, so I'm gonna roll with that stat.
I'm sleeping heavy.
Man's a good one.
I'm sleeping heavy. Yes. Ironically, yes, I'm hibernating. Yes, by picking the Bears.
That's fine.
Up in the goddamn.
I'm hibernating. Yes.
Who would you say?
I just
Man,
Work on yours.
I
I don't know what a sleeper is over there.
yeah, it's tough, but I would say
because you was getting ready to name half the
I'll say
AFC in
Seahawks.
sleeper tier.
You said
Just need
Seahawks.
it a second.
Seahawks with Gino.
because Seahawks they got the
man,
running game, they got the
Rams
receivers.
considered a sleeper?
no, they're not because
No Aaron Donald.
right, like that's a significant loss to me. No Aaron Donald and no Raheem Morris.
No, but if I said, hey, I got the Rams going to a Super
Maybe
Bowl,
a sleeper.
would that be
yeah.
a sleeper pick then?
Like you wouldn't call them your sleeper, but they could be a sleeper.
That would be
I
a
mean,
sleeper.
it
No.
would have to be if they were considered
No,
any sort of.
because I would have to see viable calls on both sides of the ball
So
to
what's-
make them a sleeper.
What's lower than a sleeper team?
A team that I don't expect them to
You're
really
beyond sleep.
like. No, they're
Beyond sleep?
No, but
they're in a coma.
No cheese.
They're dead. They're dead.
There's no
Okay,
So you're
sorry.
Okay, so
what
what
I'm saying is, this time last year, you would have said no to the Texans being the sleeper, but then obviously at the end of the season, you were like, "Shoot, that team could have done something." So it's like
I don't.
Just
see,
because
I
you
can't see
don't-
them
just
from the,
because-
because I can't see that from the Rams because the Texans didn't have a catastrophic loss. Like
well, they didn't have any additions that we felt like was good enough.
who
The Texans,
last year?
yes.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
Well, that's what we're saying. Is like
I just-
you have
I
no
can't-
expectation of them. That's
like,
why they're sleepers.
I expect the
but-
Rams. I think the Rams are going to be in some shootouts this year. I think they're going to be great offensively, but I think defensively they're going to struggle a little bit. They're going to give up some plays. That's just me. I can't sit here and dismiss losing a guy like Aaron Donald, bro. Like
We're
that's
not dismissing it. That's why we're calling it a sleeper because we don't expect.
that's a whole defense by itself. Losing Aaron Donald, like, yeah, I can't.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up.
Man, that was a hell of a show, guys.
Yeah,
That really was. That was one of our best ones.
We touched on a lot of
We
teams,
did.
a lot of players,
A lot of
stuff.
quarterbacks.
Yeah.
yeah.
We did. I think we mentioned every team in the league at some point.
At least half.
We even
Well,
mentioned the Broncos. It was briefly. It was like 8 seconds, but we
definitely did not mention the Commanders not one time.
And
That's it.
said we mentioned all 31 relevant teams. No, we mentioned all 31 relevant teams in the league. So
were just mentioned.
we met our quota.
We didn't mention the
I'm
Cardinals.
not going back and forth.
Well, no, we did.
We're not doing.
Yes, we did because he was like.
I did. I mentioned because I said if Josh was in Arizona with the Cardinals. Yeah.
So he literally went through everything.
It's funny. All right. With that being said,
That's not funny.
till next time, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, rate, review, share on our socials. Till next time, I am Cordell.
Marcus.
Whatever. E-Rob, Deuce, Cordell, and the show. I'm stopping.
Till
recording.
next time, be easy, be breezy, and please take it easy.